Welcome to day 45. Today we're going to be talking about the final chapter of Exodus, chapter 40, and we'll jump into Numbers 9, verses 15 to 23. So, first book of Genesis, Exodus, and then we're kind of skipping Leviticus, and then Numbers just for a few verses. Finally, the previous chapter, 39, it talks about all the works being finished for the tabernacle. In chapter 40, it starts about the tabernacle being erected and arranged. And then later on in Numbers, or in verse 38, it talks about the cloud and the glory. I'll be attaching pictures from my trusted book, the Rose book of uh, book of charts, Bible book of charts. So, chapter 40, verses 1 to 8. The tabernacle erected and arranged, the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, on the first day of the first month, you shall set up the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. You shall put in it the ark of the testimony, and partition off the ark with the veil. You shall bring in the table and arrange the things that are to be set in order on it, and you shall bring in the lampstand and light its lamps. You shall also set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put up the screen for the door of the tabernacle. Then you shall set the altar of the burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of meeting. And you shall set the laver between the tabernacle of meeting and the altar, and put water in it. You shall set up the court all around, and hang up the screen at the court gate. I'm so glad I didn't get to live in the Old Testament and follow through all those specific commands. When I'm lost, or if I don't use the GPS when I'm driving, and then someone tells me to turn left and then keep going, and then when you see this, turn right, and then when you see that, keep going for I'm lost. I'm lost already, but the instructions here is very specific. Again, instead of me being bored on the specifics, it makes me more appreciative of God sending his son, who is Jesus Christ, and reaching to us. So I wouldn't take that for granted. It's always a reminder for me not to take this gift for granted, the gift of salvation. Also, I'm attaching the from this Rose book the timeline of the summary of Exodus from Joseph being born, and which extends until the promised land, which we haven't talked about yet. But moving forward, yes, they will get into the promised land. And here we'll jump into verse 38 from chapter 40, which is the last chapter of Exodus. For the cloud of the Lord was above the tabernacle by day, and the fire was over it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout all their journeys. And then we jump into Numbers 9:15 to 23. Talks about the cloud and the fire. Now, on the day that the tabernacle was raised up, the cloud covered the tabernacle, the tent of the testimony. From evening until morning, it was above the tabernacle, like the appearance of fire. Must be so cool. So it was always the cloud covered by day, and the appearance of fire by night. Whenever the cloud was taken up from above the tabernacle, after that the children of Israel would journey, and in the place where the cloud settled, there the children of Israel would pitch their tents. At the command of the Lord, the children of Israel would journey, and at the command of the Lord, they would camp. As long as they could stayed, as long as they cloud, as long as the cloud stayed above the tabernacle, they remained encamped. Even when the cloud continued long many days above the tabernacle, the children of Israel kept the charge of the Lord and did not journey. So it was when the cloud was above the tabernacle a few days, according to the command of the Lord, they would remain encamped. And according to the command of the Lord, they would journey. So it was when the cloud remained only from evening until morning. When the cloud was taken up in the morning, then they would journey, whether by day or by night. Whenever the cloud was taken up, they would journey. Whether it was 2 days, a month, or a year that the cloud remained above the tabernacle, the children of Israel would remain encamped and not journey. But when it was taken up, they would journey. And the command of the Lord, they remained encamped. And at the command of the Lord, they journeyed. They kept charge of the Lord. At the command of the Lord by the hand of Moses. So it's pretty cool that God dictates timing on when to go. So they were not abandoned, they were not left, and they were not left amongst themselves. 600,000 people, just men. That's a lot, and they are continuously growing in numbers during this time. That's insane. Just trying to plan a family gathering and going to a place. The logistics of that, it's hard already. So for this to be pulled off is amazing. Yeah, I would consider this a miracle in itself. The whole thing. Now that I'm thinking of it, you know, huh? Wow, God is faithful. As I was saying earlier, I think I started with my takeaway already. There are many verses in the Bible that talks about God never leaving us nor forsaking us. In Joshua chapter 1 verse 5, he did say that. Even in the previous books, we'll see that I will be with you. God speaking specifically to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and then Joseph, and and many other more. But explicitly, he said that also in Joshua chapter 1 verse 5, I will never leave you nor forsake you. And Jesus himself promises to us that he will be with us until the end of age, and that was in Matthew 28 verse 20, which is part of the Great Commission. The other verses that mentions God not leaving us is in Hebrews 13 verse 5, Deuteronomy 31 verse 6, verse 8, Deuteronomy 31, and John chapter 14 verse 18. Just some of those. He is with us who are believers, who follow Jesus. We don't get that feeling that he is with us, but we live by faith and not by sight. So let's carry ourselves like it is true, because it is. Our emotions should be following our belief. By what I mean by that is the horse before the cart, or the wagon. What do you call that? Yeah, let's call it the cart. The cart does not go before the horse. The cart, which represents emotion, come after the horse. So we go through it. If we feel or not feel its presence, it does not make a change. It doesn't make a difference. So I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for your time. I truly appreciate you. My hope and prayers that you would seek God daily through reading of your Bible. And please take very good care of yourself. Bye bye.